Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Homemade. And today, we are making just a basic chocolate chip cookie. If you're looking for something to bake or make with your kids, that's super simple. It doesn't require a lot of cleanup, it doesn't require a lot of mess, but it's something that everybody can enjoy. This is the recipe to go to. If you find a good base, and when I say good base, that means the basic ingredients can all be the same, but you can just alter those ingredients that give it the flavor that you want. Then I say stick to it. That is a rule of thumb for me. So, with this recipe, you all, it is very basic, very simple, and again, it is just like my butter pecan cookie recipe. So, let's go ahead and get into it. So, in this bowl, I do have my 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I do have 1 tablespoon of baking soda, and I have a half a teaspoon, or you can do a half a tablespoon of salt. Either way, it doesn't matter. That's in here. Now, the reason that I did do a half a teaspoon is because I do have salt in my butter. I am using salted butter. So I do have 2 sticks of salted butter, and I just melted this butter in the microwave and let it cool down to room temperature. Now, if you forget to melt your butter and you're getting ready to prepare your cookies, you do not want to use hot butter because it will melt your chocolate chips. So, what I sometimes do is I will pop it back into the refrigerator once I've melted it completely for maybe about 3 or 5 minutes. This kind of helps speed up the cooling down process. Now, we will be putting pecans in this. If you don't want to use pecans, that is totally fine. If you just want to do your chocolate chip cookie, have at it. But I am going to add in a half a cup of finely chopped pecans. In this bowl, I have 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, and I have 1 whole cup of brown sugar. And we are going to use our 1 egg and 1 egg yolk. Now, for my chocolate chips, I am using the Hershey Special Dark. Now, with this, I will say this. I'm only going to put about 8 ounces of chocolate chips into my actual batter, and I'm going to reserve some of them because once I start to put the cookies on the cookie sheet, I like to just press down some extra chocolate chips in the top, and that just makes it seem like you have a lot of chocolate chips in there, and it also gives your cookie a very pretty presentation. Now, I am going to use 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract, and I'm going to use 1/2 tablespoon of butter extract. If you do not want to use the butter extract, that is totally fine. You don't have to. Now, also, we want to make sure that we are using real butter. Real butter. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to whisk all of my dry ingredients, make sure that they are well combined. I'm going to set that to the side. Now I'm going to mix my sugar and my butter. You are going to refrigerate this dough for at least 2 hours. And now we're going to add in our eggs. And we're just going to whisk this until our eggs disappear. Our eggs have disappeared. I'm going to go ahead and add in my flavorings. So I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of vanilla. And I'm going to put in 1/2 tablespoon of butter. So we will whisk this really well. And now we are going to take this, and I'm going to pour this into my flour mixture. I'll just kind of whisk this and make sure that it's mixed in really well before I add in my chocolate chips. and my pecans. So I whisked it, but I'm going to use my rubber spoon to make sure that I mix this in really well. And you all, once we add all of that in, we are going to put a lid on this. I am going to refrigerate it for at least 2 hours. Once I take it out of the refrigerator, I will let it sit on the counter to come back up to room temperature for about 5 minutes. And we are going to bake these in the oven on 325 degrees for at least 15 minutes. I am going to put this into the refrigerator for a couple of hours, come back, put them into the oven, and we are going to come back and sample this goodness. Cookies have been in the fridge chilling, and now we are getting ready to place them into the oven. Now, I already have my oven preheated to 325 degrees. All I do is I just take my ice cream scoop and I'll take it, scoop out a scoop of the cookies, kind of roll it around a little bit. And like I told you, I do like to put the extra chocolate chips at the top. So alrighty, let's go ahead and pop these babies into the oven and we will come back and so I did want to show you this. I did not use all of my cookie dough. So you can store this in the freezer for a long time, you all. Just make sure that whatever you're storing it in, if it's a container, if it's a piece of saran wrap, Ziploc bag, whatever it is, just make sure that you do have it wrapped really, really well. Make sure I just keep that shaped into a log as best as I possibly can. And the good thing about it is when you freeze these, you all, they can go directly from the freezer if you're able to cut them into pieces into your oven. So I'm just going to put this into the freezer. We're back. Our cookies are out of the oven. They have cooled. I placed them onto the wire rack to continue cooling. But you all just look at the cookies. Now, even though my cookies are flat, you all, they are really chewy and soft on the inside. I can honestly say these are some good chocolate chip cookies. If you don't believe me, I dare you to try them. When you do try them, make sure you drop your pictures, your comments in the comment section below. Let me know how your cookies turned out for you. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our channel if you want to keep seeing these easy homemade recipes. You all, everything that we cook is not from a box. It's not from a packet. It is literally from scratch. But the recipes are so easy to make. As I always say, cooking is as easy or as hard as you make it. But I promise you, if you just keep it simple, be yourself, life in itself can be so much easier. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Homemade. And until next time, continue to be great.